So I haven't run this Intellivision in many, many years, probably over 20 years. So let's take the game and we'll put it in the Intellivision and see if it still works after all this time. Now, Intellivisions weren't known for being the most reliable game system, so let's keep our fingers crossed. So that doesn't look very good, but we're not going to give up on it completely yet. We're going to turn it off. We're going to reseat the cartridge a couple of times because sometimes you just get a little dirt and that prevent it from working. So let's try this again. Oh, there we go. So it does work. It's a little shaky. I might try a different cable going into it. So as you can see, the picture is not too bad. It does have a little bit of a shake in it, and there's a little bit of shadowing, but there's not much I can do about that with this system. I wanted to avoid the standard connection, so the game TV switch box that goes to the rear, because then it would require this little converter here. Plus you need to use this RF style plug here to plug into the back of the Intellivision, to the switch box, and then the switch box goes to the television. It'll also allow you to connect your antenna, the old school style. So I just had one of these video cables. This plugs into the back of the Intellivision, no problem. And then this one would screw into the television. This one worked. It wasn't quite as nice as what I ended up putting in it. And then the last thing I used was one of these RF style adapters, which just simply plugs in or screws into the television on one end. On the other end, I've got an adapter that goes from this to the RCA style, which plugs into the back of the Intellivision. And this is giving me my best results. So that's how I got this guy hooked up. So here's my pack-in game from 1979. It is poker and blackjack. It says that it's for use with the Intellivision Master Component. Available now, alone or with the Master Component keyboard component. Coming soon. This actually got Mattel in a lot of trouble. They had to pay a lot of money because they promised this Master Component and keyboard component, which was supposed to come soon, which will allow you to turn your Intellivision into a computer. They never really delivered it. I guess they made a few of them to satisfy some people that were suing them, but they had no intentions of supporting it at all. So here we've got the game and two controller overlays and the instructions for playing the game. So this is for 1 or 2 players. That's interesting. It's got a shifty-eyed computer-controlled dealer who plays intelligently. Says you can call, raise, bluff, stand, pat, drop out, or discard. Says the fun of Las Vegas without ever leaving your home. It's got simulated sound effects such as dealer shuffling cards, coins paid out, and more. That's pretty cool. So I'm happy my Intellivision works, but as you can see, the screen is jumping around. It's clear, but not the best picture. So something I try to do is run the Intellivision through a VCR tuner. So I've got this old Toshiba here, and that'll work. So let me go ahead and hook that up and see what kind of picture we get with that. Okay, so I got my RF running straight from the Intellivision to my VCR, and now I'm going to change my source on my television to the Video 2 input. So let me see where I can find that. Video 2. So that's taking video from the side. And I think I just need to turn on my VCR. And it's tuned to channel 2. So let's bring it up a channel to channel 3. Okay. So now you can see I don't have the quite as much jumping around. It's not like it's not jumping at a diagonal, but it's still very wavery. So I think the next thing I'm going to do is open up this Intellivision and take a look at the RF modulator and see if I can adjust that and get an improved picture on this Intellivision. So here we've got the bottom of the Intellivision. I've got the power output, and here's the RF output. and I've got my selector for channel 3 or 4, which is actually pretty nice, the location of that. And then over here we can see that it's Mattel Electronics and it's hobby equipment. This is the model 2609, so pretty close to the Atari 2600. It uses 18 watts, it's copyright 1979, and it's made in Taiwan. We've got some numbers you can call if you have problems with it, and pretty much the same thing over here. And someplace it does say, yep, here, caution, this is not a toy and is intended for use by or under the supervision of adults. So kind of interesting, this is not a toy. Let me go ahead and pry this off and we'll take a look at what we got on the inside. So here's looking at the top of the unit upside down. I've got my controllers down here, and you can see the controllers run up and actually plug in on this direction over here. The other one's plugged in someplace down over here. This is my on-off power switch. It's got a heck of a transformer inside here, and that's a pretty good sized capacitor, so I don't want to mess around with that too much. And somehow I got to get inside here, inside this case, to dig into my RF modulator. So this Intellivision, I've noticed it has some really aggressive screws, and it's never been apart before because I can turn it and everything pops. So this has not been molested in any way in the past. So I've just simply flipped the motherboard over, and the RF modulator is over here. And one of these is for, I believe, the video tuning, and the other one's for audio. I think the video one's the one at the top, but I'm not sure. You can actually see here's the channel selector. Surprisingly a compact design, so quite impressed. You know, for a system that came out in 1979, it's compact. Now another thing is the tin at the top is soldered on into place, so I'm not going to take this apart, just too much trouble. So I'm going to play around, see if I can get in here and maybe adjust that. Okay, so I've got it powered up. Notice everything's upside down on this. So right now the motherboard is facing up, but when you put it in the Intellivision case, it faces down. So the cartridge is now flipped around. You could accidentally put this in upside down as well, so that would be bad. So it's correct at this point. Now inside here, I should have little tiny adjustments. I don't know if this is going to fit or not. Crap. So when I turn this, it definitely does adjust the tuning. You can see the colors are changing to a brown. When I go over here, now it's starting to get dim and getting out of tune. So that's definitely a tuning. Now the problem that I'm having is it's warping the screen, going diagonally. And I don't know what's causing that, but if I pull the RF out just a little bit, it will pop back and I can plug it back in. I have no idea. It seems to be a tuning issue, but I don't know how to fix this. I could try plugging this into a CRT screen and it might work better, but with this digital screen, it's just not that great. Right now it is tuning through my VCR. I would like to try to see what happens if I unplug this and plug it into the back of the TV on this digital television, see how that works. So I've plugged the Intellivision into the back of the television, so it is no longer tuning through the VCR. The picture right now is okay. I am getting a little bit of shimmying. I don't think these early Intellivisions have the best quality RF output, but let me just try tuning this a little bit, see what happens. So yeah, it's going out, and now it's nice and green. Oh, that looks pretty good. So I've got my Intellivision back. Let's see if it's playable. This is a little game of poker and blackjack, and I think I just got to push a key. Yep. So it wants to know how much money do I want in my wallet. Let's do $100. Player 2 will have 0. Okay. So ready. All right. So here, this is kind of odd. So I have to tell it which game I want to play. So if I push 4, it'll go into blackjack. So I can set my bet. And of course, yes, let's hit. Actually, let's double down. Let's try that. Double. Oh, I have 1, so I have 200. Okay. So setting up this Intellivision has been a rather frustrating process for me. It's an absolutely beautiful console with this gold and the wood trim. And I'm very, very pleased that it works. But the video quality with the shimming is pretty bad. Not very impressive. And the games I have here from launch, I have 3 of the games. The poker, blackjack, which you can play. But I'm not a card player. I do know how to play blackjack, but I don't know how to play poker. But I could learn. It's not that bad. Armor Battle is actually a pretty cool game. And it has a lot of neat features. But unfortunately, it's not working for me now. It did work at one point, and then it stopped working. There's my Armor Battle. And then NFL Football is pretty neat. You can see it's got quite a few players on the field. So as far as that goes, it's quite impressive. But for me as a gamer, this is not all that entertaining. I would like to take a look at maybe a few games on the 2600 for the same time frame and kind of do a comparison and make a judgment on which system I think would have been more fun, say in 1980, in early 1980, when this Intellivision became available. I am going to cheat though. I want to bring out my Intellivision II and take a look at the picture quality on that and see, first, A, does my Intellivision II even work? And B, does it work well? So let's go ahead and do that. So here's my Intellivision II. I don't believe this Intellivision's ever been used. I mean, the power cord has all the crinkles on it. I don't know if this was factory or not, but it was all wrapped up in its box. Here we've got this, free cartridge thingy here where you can send in something and get a cartridge. But let's go ahead and power it on. I've put a game from 1980 in here called Space Battle. It's one of the few games that's not a sports game. One of the few games you can actually play one-player version of. I'm going to hit the power and see if anything happens. I got a red light. Okay, I got nothing. Let me see if I hold it down if it goes off. Okay, so it's off. I'm going to reseat the cartridge and try it again. So I haven't been having a lot of luck with this copy of Space Battle. I tried cleaning it with rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, and it actually got pretty dirty, but all I get is a black screen. So what I'm going to try to do is swap it out for another game, and I've got Lock and Chase here. This is actually a pretty cool little game, but let me just pop this one in and see if we get any better luck. Much better. Now, okay, so unfortunately I'm having the same issue with the slanted screen on my Intellivision II as I am with the Intellivision I. So there's something odd with the Intellivision's tuning. Maybe the frequency is off just a little bit. But yeah, so this is very frustrating because essentially what we have is a beautiful game system that I can't even really review because it's just so jittery. So I just reset the system, and now I've got the screen back, but you can see the text is a little slanted, and it's shimmying a little bit, which you probably can't see in the camera, but it's quite noticeable for me. Yeah, and this screen should be perfectly vertical and not at a slant. Pretty neat little game. Don't know much about it. I have played this on the Atari 2600. Basically, it's the same game. You'll notice that this one has a little bit nicer graphics and that we've got multicolored sprite for the character player, but it's single colored sprite for all the enemies. Looks like we've got 4 different enemies, and there's these little doors that open and close. Let me see if I, oops, I do want to try one more thing. I want to bring this Intellivision over to an actual CRT and see if that works any better for us. So here I've got my JVC television, old CRT style. It's actually a really nice TV. It's got stereo speakers and very nice. I know you're probably getting vertical bars going up and down through here. Has something to do with the refresh rate and the camera and all that stuff. I'm not really good with that. That's why I like my digital television, the LCD screen, because I don't have to worry about it. But over here, I've got my Intellivision I, and I put Space Battle back in here for testing. Let's turn it on, and look at that. Absolutely perfect. The screen is nice and squared up. There's no more leaning or anything like that. Now, possibly, if I tried a different tuner on a different VCR, I might get better results. But the way the old CRTs worked and the way they refreshed and the screens and all that, there may be something with the timing circuitry on the Intellivision one that's given me trouble. I am very pleased to have both my Intellivisions working, both my Intellivision I. This is a well-used system, but it's in really nice shape and it works well. In my Intellivision II, which I've never played with that Intellivision II. I probably have never played with this Intellivision I because I had other Intellivisions prior to this. So these things have been sitting in boxes for like 30 years or more, and to be able to turn them on and get them to work is pretty fantastic. So now that I know I've got a good working Intellivision I, I'd like to pull out my other Intellivision, and we'll take a look at that one really quick. So authentic Intellivision hardware works great on a CRT, but not at all, at least on my Sony LCD panel. And any new television is not going to tune to channel 3, so it's not going to work for you either. So here's another alternative. This is an Intellivision Flashback. Not exactly sure when this came out, but it's probably around, not quite 10 years old, but somewhere around there. This one comes with 60 games, so not bad. It does come with some unreleased games. It's got Blowout, Breakout, Deep Pockets, Hard Hat, Space Cadet, and Takeover. It has 3 Intellivoice games, so B-17 Bomber, Bomb Squad, and Space Spartan, so it's all great. It's not going to have Tron, because Tron can't be, well, it could be licensed, but it would cost an absolute fortune. But let's go ahead and pull this out and see how this works. First thing I notice is it's super cute, but it's not as nice as the original Intellivision. I don't like the control ports sticking out the front. It would have been nice if they would have tucked them in the back. Notice your controllers, there's no room for them in the system. This also is not a piece of metal, brushed aluminum or whatever the Intellivision used. It's actually a sticker, and you can see mine's kind of coming up at the corner here where they didn't quite get it on there square. So yeah, it's cute, but not great. It uses standard AV output, so we'll see how that works. And here's the controllers. The controllers feel pretty decent. Unfortunately, this is a sticker again here, so after playing this a lot, this is going to wear out. But the buttons feel very good. This feels like an Intellivision I when you push on these buttons. I don't believe the controllers are compatible with the Intellivision. They're their own thing. The cord is quite thin on these, but hey, you got not one, but 2 joystick controllers, which is quite nice. Here's my power adapter, which I'm glad it's still in the box because I tend to open these up, I play with them, and I get them just kind of like lost. They just get everywhere. Here's the overlays that it came with. It's got quite a few. They seem a little thinner than the original Intellivision stuff. You can actually kind of see through this one a little bit, but it's nice to have them. I've got Word Fun, Space Hawk, Astro Smash. Looks like they come with a protective covering. We've got World Championship Baseball, Buzz Bombers, quite a few of them here. Crown of Kings, I've never played that. Another baseball. Minotaur, Night Stalker, that's a cool game. Space Spartans, Space Hawk. Oops. Looks like some of these have 2 copies, some have 1 copy. And this one, this is a great game, Utopia. This is one, I played this a lot, so really glad to have that on this Intellivision collection. Let's go ahead and move this box out of the way, and we can plug it in and see what the experience is like. All right, so I've got my Intellivision Flashback plugged into my Video 2 input on the side of this Sony television. Now, the moment of truth. That doesn't look good. What's going on? You gotta be kidding me. This is terrible. I can't believe it. This Intellivision Flashback does not work. This is terrible. So with this Intellivision Flashback acting up, there's really only one thing left for me to do, which would be to get my PlayStation 2 out and play Intellivision Lives on the PlayStation 2. But I don't want to do that now because of the bad streak I've been having. I don't want to kill a PlayStation 2. So I am going to have to end this video as a total loss. Well, not a complete total loss. After all, my Intellivision 1 works and my Intellivision 2 works. It just doesn't work on this Sony television. My flashback console, I was just expecting to power this up and have 60 games available to play, but I don't have that. And I don't particularly like the Intellivision Lives on the PlayStation 2 because the controller just does not have any similarity to what you get with the more authentic style controller of the Intellivision. So with that, I guess final thoughts would be Atari needs to give us a new Intellivision mini system. One that could use cartridges would be really awesome, or just a better quality all-in-one unit such as this Intellivision Flashback console, but a higher quality would be nice. I am happy that my Intellivision 1 and Intellivision 2 video game systems are working, although they aren't working with this particular screen, but they do work fine on a CRT. This is not the video that I planned on putting together, but with the string of issues I ran into, I kind of did the best I could for now. So if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel, and I will be putting out some more videos. So until then, take care of yourself, and goodbye.